Today is World Environment Day, and the significance of the issues being promoted on the day are being felt more so than ever by Sri Lanka. With the country facing an unprecedented threat to its environment from man-made sources, the fragility of the world we live in is a fact that we are increasingly forced to accept day by day. The theme for this year's World Environment Day is ecosystem restoration, and with that the United Nations has declared the Decade on Ecosystem Restoration that aims to prevent, halt and reverse the degradation of ecosystems on every continent and in every ocean. With scientists warning that humanity has one last chance in the next decade to attempt to reverse the damage caused, not only to our ecosystem but to ourselves as well, the United Nations has called for urgent global participation to ensure a better world for the generations to come. If successful, the UN says that the world can expect a massive reduction in poverty, better climate resilience, and a prevention of mass extinction of our species. Addressing the official World Environment Day event hosted by this year's host Pakistan, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres says that with the world facing a triple threat that is completely man-made, the solution ultimately lies with humanity alone.
We are rapidly reaching the point of no return for the planet. We face a triple environmental emergency: biodiversity loss, climate disruption, and escalating pollution. For too long, humanity has cut down the Earth's forests, polluted its rivers and oceans, and ploughed its grasslands into oblivion. We are ravaging the very ecosystems that underpin our societies. And in doing so, we risk depriving ourselves of the food, water and resources we need to survive. The degradation of the natural world is already undermining the well-being of 3.2 billion people, or 40% of humanity. Luckily, the Earth is resilient, but she needs our help. We still have time to reverse the damage we have done. That is why, on this World Environment Day, we are launching the United Nations Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. This global movement will bring together governments, businesses and civil society and private citizens in an unprecedented effort to heal the Earth. By restoring ecosystems, the task is monumental. We need to replant and protect our forests. We need to clean up our rivers and seas. And we need to green our cities. Accomplishing these things will not only safeguard the planet's resources, it will create millions of new jobs by 2030, generate returns of over $7 trillion every year, and help eliminate poverty and hunger. Science tells us these next 10 years are our final chance to avert a climate catastrophe, turn back the deadly tide of pollution, and end the species loss.
Meanwhile, addressing the agroecology event at the 48th session of the United Nations Committee on World Food Security, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa yesterday stated that heads of state must be prepared to take affirmative action to prevent the loss of biodiversity. The head of state added that Sri Lanka's decision to ban chemical fertilizer and pesticides is one such example of this, and despite any resultant teething problems, the government is determined to work through this with the assistance of the international community to help Sri Lanka move through the transition.
Climate change is one of the most serious issues humanity faces. Mitigating its impact requires urgent collective action from all countries. Individual nations must devise means to adapt to life in a changing climate. Ensuring food security through agroecological adaptation is an essential part of this. Governments the world over must not hesitate to adopt bold policies. Such policies should support ecological conservation, help combat the loss of biodiversity, and enable people to achieve their economic aspirations in more sustainable ways. In April of this year, the government of Sri Lanka banned the import of artificial fertilizers, pesticides and weedicides. Our decision took into account broader ecological issues as well as significant public health concerns. Use of artificial fertilizers and agrochemicals has been associated with the rise of non-communicable diseases amongst the general public. They have also long been identified with high incidences of chronic illness in the heartland of Sri Lanka, where they have been overused for decades. Largely due to aggressive marketing by the agrochemical lobby and a lack of education amongst farmers, it is estimated that nearly 80% of the nitrogen fertilizer used in Sri Lanka is wasted. We are aware that there will be teething problems during this transition. However, as leaders, it is our responsibility to take decisive action despite the challenges we will face. We would greatly appreciate the support of the international community, including multilateral organizations, individual government, climate funds, technical experts and bodies, as well as businesses to strengthen our domestic capacity in organic farming.
Pocket එකට ෆිට් වෙන new Axe Ticket perfume.